BW, I'm back. So, your girl told you this morning that I was going to come back with the why story. For the sake of time, I want to keep it under 5 minutes, so I'm going to jump straight into the story. Just know that every Wednesday, I am revamping Wisdom Wednesday. So I'm coming on for 5 minutes every Wednesday. Again, as I shared in the video this morning, to uplift, to encourage, to inspire. And I pray that some women jump on this encouragement train. Email your girl at betterwomanbetterwife@gmail.com and you do some 5-minute videos, so we can get on and do a live. We can do a Zoom, just as I said this morning. But anyway, my encouragement for today, I shared this again last year, and I just had a Better Woman, Better Wife Scholarship Foundation where I shared it with the students at the event. And so I want to share the why story again to encourage the women in the BW, because one thing that I found out about this why story is that you can apply it to school, you can apply it to your marriage, you can apply it to life, to your finances. I don't care what arena that you're in, that you're having difficulties in, you can apply this why story. So very quickly, when I was in nursing school, I had a instructor by the name of Mr. Hearn. And Mr. Hearn, when I tell you 6 foot tall, thick mustache, and when I tell you this man spoke, I mean, his voice was like thunder. It was just so powerful to you. He's going to get your attention just by speaking. And of course, he got my attention on the very first day of a course called Intro to Nursing. Now, one of the things about Intro to Nursing, it was just a 6-week course to just introduce you to some of the greats in nursing, nurses, Florence Nightingale, and some of the other people pioneers who have went before us. That's what it was all about. And so, and just to introduce you to some fundamental principles of nursing. And so Mr. Hearn came into the class, he introduced himself, and again, this man's voice is like thunder. And so he asked the question, why do you want to be a nurse? It was 80 strong up in that room. Do you hear me? It was a big cohort size. But he asked the question, why do you want to be a nurse? And so surprisingly, 80 students in nursing don't know why we're there. And so he looked a little, like confused, like they in nursing school. By the time you reached his course, you were at the halfway point because you had 2 years of prerequisites and then you had another 2 years of nursing. So he was the very first nursing school class. So you're at the halfway point. So he said, why do you want to be here? And so again, he was a little bit puzzled as he looked at people confusion in their faces, like, we don't know why we're here. And so he said, you mean to tell me we have almost 80 students in this room and nobody can tell me why you're here? Nobody can tell me why you want to be a nurse? And so slowly hands began to go up. Not a lot, maybe out of 80 students, probably 4 hands went up, and somebody said, oh, because my mom is a nurse. Somebody else said, oh, because I want to make money. Somebody said their great-grandma was a nurse. And then some other old weird answer came about. And so he said, I had something I wanted to discuss with you all today, but hey, I'm changing this whole thing around today. Instead, I'm sending you home with an assignment. I'm sending you home with a task. And that task is to write a 1-page paper of why you want to be a nurse. He said also that it's the second part to that assignment. The second part is you need to find 3 pictures of whatever you write on that paper, whatever your why is. I need you to find 3 pictures, and I need you to bring them back to class. And so me being the good student that I am, and this is going to go over 5 minutes, I'm going to tell y'all now, but I'm going to try to make it under 10. So me being the good student I am, I went home, rushed home, doing my homework assignment, and I wrote my paper on my why. And my why was, the reason I was in nursing school is because I wanted a black-on black Mercedes. Can y'all picture me rolling? Can you picture me rolling in a black-on-black Mercedes? Because I sure could at the time. I could picture myself. And so I wrote down how this car would be dependable transportation for me. I described the car to the T. I wanted the certain kind of rims. I wanted it black on black. And then, because it had to be a page long, I had to sort of BS the rest of it. And so I was talking about how it would be dependable transportation, how I can get to school and get my kids to school, and how it would help me in my life. Y'all know how we do when we writing papers, how we have to BS. So I wrote a one-page paper about this black on black Mercedes, and that was my why of why I wanted to be in nursing school. And so I went and I was going through different magazines, had to find a Mercedes. I couldn't find black on black, but I found pictures of Mercedes. So I got my 3 pictures. And so we went back to class the next week. And so as we went back to class, he broke it up over the next several weeks, and we had to stand up and we had to present the picture of our why. And so the last week, and when we got to the very last student, Mr. Hearn said to us about our why, because I got up and I told my story about my black on black Mercedes. Honey, I was not playing. Do you hear me? And so after the last student, Mr. Hearn said to us, he said, the reason, guys, I wanted you to do this assignment because you need to be very clear on your why of why you are in this program. He said the reason this is important because nursing school is like a roller coaster. He said the journey that you are about to embark on, trust me, it would be a difficult one. He said, but it would be worth it. He said nursing school is like a roller coaster. He said you have your ups, you have your downs, you have your peaks, you have your valleys. He said, and it's not a matter of if there's going to be ups and downs, it's a matter of when. He said, because trust me, difficult days are coming. He said, so the reason I wanted you to do this assignment and the reason I wanted you to be clear on your why, he said, because, you have those days where you're making A's and you making B's and you want to come to school. All that's fine and dandy. He said, but on those days when you hit the valley and you make that F, or you down in the valley and you don't want to come to school, he said, I want you to remember your why. He said, that's why I asked you all to bring 3 pictures. He said, I want you to take 1 picture. I want you to put it on the refrigerator. He said, on the next picture, he said, you always come to school, so I want you to put 1 in your backpack. And he said, I know you got to eat, so 1 in your refrigerator. And then he said, wherever you set up your study space for in your home, he said, because you need a study space. He said, I want you to put 1 picture there. And he said, when you're having those difficult days, when you done went down into the valley of that roller coaster, when you on a downstroke, he said, that's when I want you to remember your why. He said, because if your why is strong enough, you are going to figure out how to get through this. And so, again, I did what Mr. Hearn said. I took those 3 pictures back home, 1 on the refrigerator, 1 in my study area, which was my living room at the time, and 1 in my backpack. And so I got through his class with an A. I went on into health assessment. I made another A. Went on into what they call basic skills of nursing, made another A. And then one of the most difficult courses, and if you're a nurse, you know Adult 1 is a difficult course. Of course it was for me. And so I hit that course, and my first test grade was a F. And when I tell you I had a whole hissy fit, I had a whole entire meltdown. Do you hear me? And so after that meltdown, I remember Mr. Hearn's words. Hey, remember your why. And so I ran to the refrigerator. I got the picture off the black on black Mercedes. But guess what? It didn't do anything for me. Absolutely nothing for me. So in that moment, I knew I had to change the picture of my why. And so I have 3 biological children, 3 bonus children. And so at the time, my 3 biological children living with me, 2 boys, 1 girl. My boys, they always had heroes they looked up to, basketball players, football players. My boys were big into sports. But my daughter, I was her hero. She wanted to do everything that mama did. So I knew if I didn't even finish this for me, if I didn't give it 100% for me, I had to do it for her. So I changed the picture of my why from a black on black Mercedes to my daughter. I took 3 pictures of her, 1 on the refrigerator, 1 on my study area, 1 in the backpack. Just like Mr. Hearn had said, this is after my meltdown a couple of days later. Now, let me just say that. Let me put that out there. And I put the 3 pictures of my why. And so I walked back into the class, and it wasn't easy to do. But every time things got difficult, I remember my why. There were days I didn't want to go to school, but my why said you got to go. There were days I pulled up to the building and I was like, you mean to tell me this building's still standing? But I remember my picture of my why, so I got out the car and I went in anyway. And so I had a few more difficult classes, but every time things got difficult for me, I looked at my why, and just like Mr. Hearn said, I figured out how to get through that class. So why am I sharing it? Because I know y'all don't care about my nursing journey. Why am I telling you that? Because this is Wisdom Wednesday. And I wanted to encourage you. I wanted to inspire you to know your why, sis. It may not be for nursing school, but whatever job you on, you may be having difficulties on your job. Ask yourself, why did God place me here? Maybe you're that beacon of light that employer need in there. Maybe you're the only Jesus somebody may see. Then you may ask yourself, why am I in this relationship? Or you may be going through in your marriage. But what about going back to that old wedding photo and remember why you married that brother in the first place? Remember your why. Sometimes we get frustrated with these kids, but do we remember why we have them in first place? God already told us they're a gift to us. These kids are gifts to us. And sometimes we think we're here to parent and teach them, but they teach us a lot of things like patience, perseverance. They teach us about hard work, about love, because the love of a child is a love like you've never known before. So I don't care what finances. If your finances are order, ask yourself why. What's the why behind me trying to get my finances in order? Why do I need to save? How is it going to help me? And then when you figure out why, you ain't going to be all on Temu shopping. You ain't going to be all on Amazon and Walmart, because your why is going to be bigger than that outfit or those pair of shoes that you need. If you know your why is I'm saving so I can have 6 months in case something happened for hard days, or I'm saving for my child's college fund, or I'm saving to pay off my whatever your why is, it has to be a strong why. So when you want to go out there and just spend frivolously, you'll know, my why ain't going to allow me to go shop. When you want to disrespect their husband, my why, the why I married this brother in the first place, my why is too strong for me to disrespect their brother. When your kids walk crazy, my why is too strong to put them out. Instead of cussing them out, I'm going to help them out. So again, I hope this has blessed somebody. Like I told you this morning, this ministry ain't for everybody. Wisdom Wednesday ain't going to be for everybody. But I'm going to make a commitment to this circle that I started in August 2018. Like I said, I am back on fire. I have been reignited, and I just want to come on and uplift and encourage. And again, I pray there's a few good women out there who don't mind doing the same thing, who's willing to come on and do the same thing. So with that being said, I just want to leave you with, remember your why. Write it down. Write it down. Be blessed. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this Wisdom Wednesday. And also, I haven't forgot about the book. Also, let me know if you purchased the Evolve book, because I also want to start a book club back. I think reading inspirational books will also be a good tool, a good resource for us to use to be encouraged and to be inspired. So y'all, BW, activate.